Chapter 8 is all about right triangles, and today we're going to talk about two special right triangles. And why special right triangles, you may ask? Well, the Pythagorean theorem is very useful for finding the missing sides of right triangles when we're given two of the three lengths. But unfortunately, this isn't always the case, and we need to be able to find the missing side lengths of right triangles given only one side and an angle. To do this, we're going to need trigonometry. I know you're excited, but please contain your excitement because before we talk about this new topic, we're going to learn about two special right triangles. These triangles allow us to identify the missing sides without trigonometry because of the ratios of their sides. The first triangle set we're going to talk about is the 45, 45, 90 right triangle. And we consider a triangle 45, 45, 90 when we're talking about the angles. So that means it has two 45-degree angles and then the right angle, 90 degrees. Now because these angles are the same, we actually have an isosceles right triangle. Our base angles are the same, therefore our sides are going to be the same, or our legs are going to be the same. So the 45, 45, 90 theorem says that in a 45, 45, 90 triangle, both legs are congruent and the length of the hypotenuse is square root of 2 times the length of the leg. So we know that the lengths of the legs, let's call these x, are going to be the same. It's an isosceles triangle. And the hypotenuse is going to be x times square root of 2, or the length of the leg times square root of 2. This is going to give us information about our triangle. So let's actually look at this with numbers. So we're going to find the value of x in our diagram. Well, x is the hypotenuse in this triangle. So 9 is going to be our leg. So to find the value of x, it's going to be the leg times square root of 2, or 9 times square root of 2, which is 9 square root of 2. So x is 9 square root of 2. We don't need to use the Pythagorean theorem to find this value. In our second example, x is now one of our legs, and 6 is our hypotenuse. So x is the leg, so x is going to be equal to the hypotenuse divided by square root of 2. Since the hypotenuse is the leg times the square root of 2, x is going to be the hypotenuse divided by the square root of 2. So that means x is 6 divided by the square root of 2, or x is 6 square root of 2 over 2. And we get that by rationalizing the denominator, timesing both the bottom and the top by square root of 2. Then we can finally simplify, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So x is 3 square root of 2. I want you to give it a shot, so pause the video and try these two examples. In our first example, x is the hypotenuse. So x is going to be the leg times square root of 2. So 2 square root of 2 times square root of 2. Well, the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is 2. So we're going to have 2 times 2. X is going to be 4. In the second example, x is again the leg. And the leg is equal to the hypotenuse divided by the square root of 2. So we're going to have 10 divided by the square root of 2. And again, we're going to rationalize the denominator times the numerator and the denominator both by the square root of 2, and we get 10 square root of 2 over 2, or 5 square root of 2. Take a second, compare your answers to mine, see if you can find errors if you had any, and bring questions to class. Now I said there was a second right triangle, and this is a 30, 60, 90 right triangle. And again, we refer to this 30, 60, 90 by the angles. One angle is 30, one is 60, and then we obviously have the right angle, or 90 degrees. So in a 30, 60, 90 triangle, the length of the hypotenuse is twice the length of the shorter leg. The length of the longer leg is the square root of 3 times the length of the shorter leg. So what we're saying is, let's call x our shorter leg. And we know it's shorter because it's across from the 30-degree angle. And think about it, the smaller the angle, the shorter the leg. So x is going to be our shorter leg. The first part says the hypotenuse is twice x. So if we call this x, our hypotenuse, is 2 times x. The length of the longer leg is x times the square root of 3, or x squared root of 3. So let's look at this in terms of numbers now. So we're going to look at the values of x and y. And again, we can find these even though we only have one side and an angle. 5 is going to be our shorter side because it's across from the 30. That makes x the long leg, which means x is the shorter leg times square root of 3, or 5 times square root of 3, 5 square root of 3. Y is the hypotenuse. So y is the shorter leg times 2, or 5 times 2, which is 10. So x is 5 square root of 3, y is 10. In the second example, 6 is the long leg. It's across from the 60. So to find x, we're going to have to take our long leg and divide it by the square root of 3. We get this because remember, the long leg is equal to the short leg times square root of 3. So if we divide both sides by the square root of 3, we get the short leg is the long leg divided by the square root of 3. Which means we're going to have the long leg 6 divided by the square root of 3. Rationalize the denominator like we did in the last triangle. And we get 6 square root of 3 over 3, or 2 square root of 3. Now to find y is the hypotenuse. So it's going to be 2 times the short leg, or 2 times 2 square root of 3, which gives me 4 square root of 3. So x is 2 square root of 3, y is 4 square root of 3. Now it's your turn. Find the values of x and y in each example. Pause the video and try these examples. In the first one, x is the long leg. So x is going to be the short leg times square root of 3. X is going to be 12 times the square root of 3, or 12 square root of 3. Y is the hypotenuse. So it's going to be the short leg times 2, or 12 times 2, which is 24. In the second example, 18 represents the hypotenuse. So to find x, which is going to be our short leg, it's going to be the hypotenuse divided by 2, since we know that the hypotenuse is 2 times the short leg. So x is 18 divided by 2, or x is 9. Y is the long leg, so y is going to be our short leg times square root of 3. Well, we just figured out our short leg was 9, so 9 times the square root of 3, or 9 square root of 3. Again, check your answers against mine. See if you can figure out where you went wrong and what questions you have. And that's the end. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in class on Monday.